Hello viewers, a warm welcome to the video lecture on dyeing of polyester materials. At the end of this video lecture, you will be able to familiar with the polyester material, recap the morphological and chemical structure of the polyester material, enlighten the properties and classification of dispersed dyes, explain the methods and application of dyes and its mechanisms, describe the procedure involved in various dyeing methods. Now let us see about polyester fiber. Polyester is a category of polymer which contain the ester functional group in their main chain. Long chain polymers chemically composed of at least 85% by weight of an ester and a dihydric alcohol and terephthalic acid. The name polyester refers to the linkage of several monomers within the fiber. Although here are many polyester, the term polyester is a specific material most commonly refers to the polyethylene terephthalate, that is PET. Please look at the slide, the chemical structure of the polyester fiber. Now look at the slide. The slide shows the morphological structure and chemical structure of the polyester material. If you look at the morphological structure, see basically there are two views are visible in this slide. One is longitudinal view and another one is cross-sectional view. In the cross-sectional view, if you look at this, it is circular in cross-section. Whereas if you look at the longitudinal view, it is rod-like in shape. So now let us see the characteristics of polyester fiber. How the polyester fiber will looks. It has good abrasion resistance, yes. Then very resistance, very resilient. Then it is very resistant to wrinkling. Very high heat resistant. The right amount of heat can be used to permanently set the fabric, that is a process called heat setting. Then easy to wash and wear the material. So these are all the characteristics of the polyester fiber and products. Now look at the properties of dispersed dyes. So the dispersed dye is the most widely used dye to dye the polyester material. Dispersed dye is one kind of organic substance which free of ionizing group. Dispersed dyes are insoluble in water, yes. Dispersing agents are needed for dyeing with dispersed dyes. Dispersed dye widely used for dyeing synthetic fibers, especially polyester, nylon and other synthetic materials. Polyester fiber is dyed by using dispersed dyes. Dispersed dye, the dyeing is carried out at high temperature. We will discuss how the dyeing takes place at very high temperature in the forthcoming slides. The molecular dyes of the dispersed dyes are smaller than other dyes. In case of carrier, methods are applied for polyester dyeing. Yes, carrier is one method of dyeing of polyester material. Please look at this picture. So this is how the polyester material has to be dyed. Okay, so this is the chemical structure of a particular dispersed blue dye. Please look at this slide. Now we will see the classification of dispersed dyes. The classification is based on the chemical structure of the dyes. The first one is nitro dyes, second one is amino ketone dyes, the third one is anthraquinone dyes, monoazo dyes and diazo dyes. So these are all the classification of dyes according to the chemical nature. So coming to the applications. How to apply the dispersed dyes in our polyester material. See basically there are 4 or 5 methods are available. The first one is normal dyeing methods. In the normal dyeing methods, the dyeing temperature is 80 to 100 degrees Celsius. Then in terms of high temperature, that is normal temperature with carrier. This already we might be discussed in the 2-3 slides earlier. Carrier dyeing method, that is the dyeing takes place at a temperature between 80 to 100 degrees Celsius. High temperature dyeing is also one of the dyeing method. So the dyeing temperature is 105 to 140 degrees Celsius to be maintained during the dyeing process. Then thermosol dyeing method. The dyeing temperature is 180 to 220 degrees Celsius. This is a continuous dyeing method. The other two dyeing methods are semi-continuous dyeing methods and continuous dyeing methods. It is called as pad steam method. So these are all the auxiliaries used in the polyester dyeing process. The first one is dispersing agent. What is the function of the dispersing agent? The dispersing agent assists the process of reducing the particle size of the dye. It increases the solubility of the dispersed dye in water. It helps to avoid agglomeration of dyes during dyeing. It influences the rate of exhaustion. So these are all the functions of the dispersing agents in polyester dyeing process. So the next one is leveling dyeing, leveling agent. Non-ionic leveling agents are used to retard the rate of dyeing process. Carrier type leveling agents are used in high temperature dyeing to get uniform dyeing. They also help to avoid the deposition of oligomers on the fiber surface. So these are all the schematic representation of the particular agent. The third one is anti-foaming agent. Yes, anti-foaming agents are used in a dispersed dyeing bath to control the formation of foam. Okay, because it will lead to some faulty dyeing during the dyeing process. Then fourth one is wetting agent. A small quantity of wetting agent is used to facilitate the dye liquor to be absorbed uniformly and quickly. The fifth one is pH and redox buffers. These agents protect the dye from the degradation in a high temperature bath. So these are all the auxiliaries to be used in the polyester dyeing material. So now let us discuss the dyeing mechanisms. The dyeing of polyester fiber with the dispersed dyes, the dye transfer from water to a fiber. Dispersed dyes are added to water with a wetting agent to form an aqueous dispersion. They are more substantive to the fiber than to the inorganic dye liquor. The application of heat to the dye liquor increases the energy of dye molecules and accelerates the dyeing of textile fibers. Heating of a dye liquor swells the fiber to some extent and assists the dye to penetrate the fiber polymer system. Dye molecules are held by hydrogen bonds and van der Waals force of attractions. So this is how the dyeing mechanism takes place during the dyeing of polyester material. The dyeing is considered to take place in the following simultaneous steps. So these are all the steps involved during the dyeing process. The first one is diffusion of the dye in solid phase into water by breaking up into individual molecules. This diffusion depends on the dispersibility and solubility of the dye stuff and is aided by the presence of dispersing agent and increasing temperature. The second one is adsorption of the dissolved dye from the solution onto the fiber surface. This dye stuff adsorption by fiber surface is influenced by the solubility of the dye in the dye bath than that in the fiber. Diffusion of the adsorbed dye from the fiber surface into the interior of the fiber substance towards the center. In normal condition, the adsorption rate is always higher than the diffusion rate. and this is governing step of the dyeing process. So this is how the dye molecule transfer from the surface of the polyester material to the inner core of the material. Now let us discuss the first dyeing method, that is carrier dyeing process. Carrier is an organic compound which accelerates dyeing by breaking up or dissolving dye aggregates and bringing them to the fiber water interface in size small quantities enough to be absorbed by the material. Carrier allow dyeing of even deep shades at boiling within a reasonable dyeing time. Carrier is a type of accelerant particulate used in the dyeing or printing of hydrophobic fibers with dispersed dyes. Common carriers, see these are all the carriers are used during the carrier dyeing process. So mostly orthophenyl phenol is used. So this is how the dyeing takes place. How much minutes you have to maintain in the dye bath, and how much time the dyeing takes place from diffusion to transfer, then diffusion to absorption, absorption to again interior of the fiber. So this is how the timing of the dyeing. Now the selection of carrier. So there are several factors to be considered while selecting a carrier. The first one is availability and cost of the carrier, the effectiveness in increasing the rate of the dyeing, then freedom from unpleasant odor, absence of toxicity, compatibility with dyes and other auxiliaries, easy of removal after dyeing. Yes, this is to be considered while selecting a carrier. Non-volatility in steaming, then biodegradability, no adverse effect on fabric, no shrinking of material, handle of dye and material, irritation on skin, uniformity of absorption by the fiber. So these are all the factors to be considered while selecting a particular carrier. Then please look at these points. So these are all the desirable properties of a good carrier. It should increase the rate of dyeing. It should be compatible with the dispersed dyes and auxiliaries used in the dyeing and printing process. It should be non-volatile in nature. It should be non-toxic. It should not have adverse effect on fastness properties of the dyed material. It should not cause shrinkage of the material. It should be uniformly absorbed by the material. It should be odorless. It should be biodegradable. It should have good stability under dyeing and printing conditions. It should be easily removed after the dyeing and printing process. So these are all the desirable properties of a good carrier. So you have to select the carrier in such a way for the dyeing of polyester material. Now look at the carrier dyeing process. See, the fiber absorbs the carrier and it swells the fiber. This swelling can impede liquid flow in packages, causing unevenness. The overall effect is lower the polymer glass transition temperature, thus promoting polymer chain movements and creating free volume. This speeds up the diffusion of the dye into the fiber. A typical carrier dyeing procedure running the goods in the bath at 60 degrees Celsius and adding dilute dispersing agent, emulsified carrier, and lastly in the dispersed dyes. So pH of the bath is controlled by means of adding acetic acid between 4 to 5.5. The temperature to be maintained during the carrier dyeing process is about 90 degrees Celsius and the bath is kept for about 60 minutes. Then finally, after the dyeing process, you have to remove the carrier present in the fiber. So that is the process called reduction clearing treatment. Okay. So the material is again rinsed well after the reduction clearing process and then drying to be carried out. Now let us discuss the high temperature and high pressure dyeing method. In high temperature dyeing method, either the material or liquor should circulate. Otherwise, the dye molecules will not penetrate inside the material. They will stay on the surface only. In this method, the temperature is kept between 105 and 140 degrees Celsius and pressure is to be kept between 0 to 170 kilopascal. This method is also known as pressure dyeing, which is used for highly crystalline synthetic fibers and their blends. This technique causes the fiber to swell evenly more than which is achieved at 100 degrees Celsius temperature, so that the dye molecules penetrate the fiber polymer system. It eliminates the need of carrier. The advantages of high temperature dyeing methods are dyeing times are frequently shorter, no need to use carrier during the dyeing process, maximum 98% of dye fixation takes place during this high temperature and high pressure dyeing method. Loss of dyeing is very less. Light fastness and wet fastness is also very high when compared to carrier dyeing method. Better exhaustion and deeper dyeing also be produced in this dyeing process. Faster diffusion of the dye in the fiber at elevated temperature. The high pressure and high temperature dyeing in jet dyeing machine. The jet dyeing machine is an extension of high temperature and high pressure winch dyeing machine. It is looked upon a welcome improvement over the winch machine, which has many disadvantages. The HPHT beam dyeing machine was found unsuitable for dyeing knitted goods and texturized fabrics. In order to preserve the delicate structure of such fabric and to avoid fiber damage, the jet dyeing machine was developed by the industry in USA. It was introduced during the year 1963. There are 4 forms of energies are involved in the jet dyeing machine. The first one is chemical, the second one is thermal, the third one is mechanical, the fourth one is fluid. The fluid it is used to cause movement of the dye liquor. Okay, please look at the figure. This is the schematic representation of the jet dyeing machine. Next we will see the soft overflow jet dyeing machine. In order to overcome the problems of a conventional jet dyeing machine, new horizontal jet dyeing machines are used, that is soft flow over dyeing machine has been designed to minimize the tension of the fabric, tension on the fabric, and in which the fabric follows the path similar to that in a conventional winch. So this is the schematic representation of the soft overflow jet dyeing machine. Please look at the figure. Here the tension on the fabric is very less. So that is the advantage of soft overflow dyeing machine. So coming to the last and final method is the dyeing of polyester fabric in thermosol dyeing method. See, the thermosol process with the dispersed dye is a continuous dyeing process introduced by DuPont in the year 1949. A dispersion of the dispersed dye is padded onto the polyester fabric. The material is then dried using a hot flue air dryer or by infrared radiation, the latter usually giving much less migration of the dye. Thermosol dyeing is a continuous process used for dyeing of polyester or cellulosic blends, either with the dispersed dyes for polyester component or with the dispersed and reactive dye component in case of polyester cotton blends. In thermosol dyeing method, there is a consistency in shade, production is higher, value loss is minimal, and process cost is also very less. Thermosol method is a continuous dyeing process with the dispersed dyes. Dyeing is performed at higher temperature. Please look at the slide. The temperature in the dyeing process you have to maintain 180 to 220 degrees Celsius. Okay. So the time of dyeing is also maintained very carefully to get required shade and to retain the required fabric strength. Otherwise, these two property will be disappear because the strength of the fabric to be maintained at any process. The sequence of dyeing is sufficient temperature, the fiber are softened and their internal structure is opened. The polymer macromolecule vibrates vigorously and the molecules, that is, the dye molecules, diffuse in the fiber. It requires only a few seconds, less than even 1 minute, the dyeing takes place. The temperature to be maintained is 200 to 230 degrees Celsius. So coming to the advantages of this thermosol dyeing process, dyeing time is very short, no need of carrier, non-toxic. There is no additional problem of removing carrier because already we might be discussed in the carrier dyeing process. Once the dyeing process has been completed, we have to remove the carrier present in the material by using alkali. So that process is called reduction clearing treatment. Here that process is entirely be eliminated. Very bright shade is obtained in this process. Excellent dye utilization because 75 to 90% of the dye has been transferred from the dye bath to the fabric. It has its own disadvantages. Shade may be changed due to sublimation at high temperature because we are maintaining at very high temperature, that is 180 to 210 degrees Celsius during this thermosol dyeing process. So a special type of machine is required for this thermosol dyeing process. That is the one disadvantage. Loss of strength may happen when the time is prolonged. That is, the treatment time, if you prolonged, what will happen? The strength of the fabric is going to get reduced. So these things are already discussed in the previous slides. The cost of the dyeing process is little bit high when compared to the high temperature, high pressure dyeing method, similarly the carrier dyeing method. So this is the summary of this today's lecture. So we familiar with the polyester material. So we have covered the morphological and chemical structure of the material, enlightened the properties and classification of dispersed dyes, explained the methods of application of dyes and its mechanism. So finally the procedure involved in various dyeing methods. So this is the summary of this today's lecture. So thank you for watching this lecture. Please subscribe this lecture and please comment about this lecture in the comment box. Thank you.